if you want to stay.
I'm here with bells on, ready to
Right.
Welcome, Catherine Ronan.
Thank you, my dear friend, Mary Louise.
Catherine, I especially want to thank you tonight because this is an experiment for us. We've never, it's being that there's so many people that want us to keep doing things and so many folks that want to feature. We've added this second Tuesday only on a quarterly basis. So this is the first time. So I want to thank you for doing this. I don't know what the turnout's going to be. But
It doesn't matter. We'll look. I bring a party for one. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
I was at a poetry reading recently, and I was the only person who turned up.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was the only one who turned up. And I said to the woman, I said, "Do not worry," I said, because Paul Muldoon read in the library to one old man. So you can be Paul Muldoon today, and I'll be the old man. And I said, I'll video you, and you can put it up on your Insta. You'll have all the socials, and it just like people won't know that there's one person there or 100 people there. And I said it'll be good for you to read it anyway. So, I mean, I did cheer her up by telling her about the Paul Muldoon story. So, if there's one person there you read, that's my cardinal rule.
Yeah? I have a Paul Muldoon story. I and my associate Michael interviewed him at the Miami Book Fair, and after the interview, it's a small little room. He was fantastic, and just as a half joke question, I said to him, "Okay, here's the last question: Lennon or McCartney?" And I did that once in a while, and he said, "Well, I'm going to have to go with McCartney, and I'll tell you why." He said, he approached me, he called me, or however, he contacted McCartney did. Paul McCartney contacted Paul Muldoon. He said, "For a project, I can't tell you what it is, but I'm going to be working with him." Now, this was maybe 4 or 5 years before the Paul McCartney book that came out called Lyrics, which was edited and with a foreword from Paul Muldoon.
Yes, and
that was the project he was talking about.
And I think they made a podcast out of it too, if I'm not mistaken.
They may have, yeah.
And they made a film. Paul Muldoon made a film of his life, really, but it was all different people reading his poetry. So he had Paul Simon reading a poem, and he had Paul McCartney reading.
That right.
Yeah,
I would love to see that.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think, is it like Muldoon's Picnic is when he tours festivals with his band, it's called Muldoon's Picnic.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and but I'd say you could find that easily enough online, because it was broadcast in Ireland at least twice anyway. And T.G. Caher, I think, was involved in the making of it. But like it was very interesting because he knows a lot of people, Paul Muldoon. And they were all reading excerpts of his work.
Well, I hope to meet him. I hope to meet him in June. So.
I call him the Druid. I think I did a week-long course with him in the West Cork Literary Festival. And I call him the Druid because it's like he has a third eye in the middle of his forehead. He said, I met him at the screening of this film, actually, in the Gateway Cinema in Cork. I hadn't seen him since August, and the screening of the film, the first screening of it, was in Cork in, say, October, November. And I thought, sure, he won't recognize me at all from July, but he did. And he said, he got up from where he was and came over to me and said, "How have you been?" And I had a fall, and there was a bump on my head. And he said, "Mind that head, because it's a good one." I love Paul Muldoon, but he's very different energy about him. Like he's like a druid, really.
Okay.
You can tell him I said that, Mike.
I'll try and remember it, but I definitely will.
Yeah, he has my book, and but he's very, like, I was very impressed that he remembered me, because he meets so many people.
You meet so many people, yeah.
Yeah, but he's a lovely guy, like, But you'll find the really kind of successful kind of people are kind of genuine people anyway.
And
let's do it.
Do you agree, Mike, that tonight is a 3-poem 10-minute if they need it and want it?
Yeah, let's go.
We've got like 11 people.
Yeah, let's go for it. I got 7. Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah. And this is a deluxe group, I gotta say. Hello, Ron. I love when Ron reads.
All right, I want everybody please mute yourselves, obviously, except for Catherine. I want to welcome everybody to the inaugural second Tuesday quarterly event that we're going to do on a quarterly basis, second Tuesdays, simply because everybody wants us to do something else. So we figured, all right, we'll slip a Tuesday in somewhere along the line. Our first reader tonight is, we're Zooming as always. We're also recording it. I'm not going to worry about going live to Facebook at the moment because it never doesn't seem to work half the time anyway. So I will get the video tomorrow. We'll edit it and put it up online so everybody can see it. It'll be on the YouTube page and the Facebook page tomorrow. Our first inaugural reader for second Tuesday quarterlies is the wonderful Catherine Ronan. She is an Irish award-winning poet who has been writing poetry since childhood. She is deputy poetry editor for Swerve magazine and curates the Lit Lounge. Her chapbooks, Alchemy 2023 and Synchrodensity 2024, were highly commended in the International Fool for Poetry competition. Her poetry collection, Elemental Skin, was published by Revival Press and nominated by them for the Haney, Piggott, and Forward Poetry Prizes. I've been wanting Catherine to read for us for a long time. She's here tonight. Catherine Ronan, everybody.
Thank you, Mike. And thank you, Greg. And thank you for inviting me to this inaugural evening. I'm so thrilled. And I can't wait to get started. And I'm so delighted to see people that I know here already. And I suppose the best thing to come out of COVID was that local became global and global became local. And the poetry community has exploded. So I'll just go and tell you a little bit about myself, and I'll punctuate it then with poems as I go along. I'm going to read from my collection, Elemental Skin. I'm also going to read from a chapbook that was printed for a Cork Coventry Poetry Exchange. I represented Cork in that. And I'm going to read some new work from my second manuscript. And I have an exclusive as well. So I've been writing poetry since I was 9 years of age. And the very first poem I remember writing into my very first spiral night notebook was, "My jeans are dirty. I have no others. I'd wear some clean ones if they'd been washed by my mother." Well, my family, my great grandfather used to write doggerel. So this was kind of like a kind of very rhymey, sort of witty poetry about neighbors and stuff like that. So I think that I'm probably like a distillation of his genes. But my family in general didn't believe in they're still not great fans of poetry, but my father didn't believe in educating women either. But I'll tell you more about that as we go along. So I'm going to open tonight with a poem for my friend John Kenny. He was a very famous comedian in Ireland from a duo called Dunbelievables. And I met him at a poetry workshop with Francesca Bell, a Californian poet who was at the Kinsale Literary Festival. And he was just starting his poetry career, but unfortunately he died of cancer. But I am going to remember him and all the people that we're missing here tonight. And I'm going to open with this poem about the largest stone circle in Ireland. And it's called Grange. That's the largest stone circle in Ireland. Grange. Drumming in shale and soil, we swallow the earth stuck in our throat for so long as we face the rising sun. Burning oil of ancient time, waxing vernix new, we arch the cosmos in every dream that brought us here. Drenched with the song of tomorrow's lullaby, we dance in the dark storm of ourselves. Grange of screaming, shouting, crying ritual, soul circle of ceremony, our sky swells to you. So, as I said, my father especially didn't believe in educating women, but I had a very good leaving cert, as we call it here. So I went to college by night, which is where I met my husband. Now, I'm quite a chatty sort, and my husband is a very quiet sort. And I was trying to think, how am I going to get this guy interested in me? Or how are we going to start up a conversation to begin with? And one night he came in, and it was the late 80s, and he was wearing a hand-knitted jumper, and they were all the fashion at the time. And I said to my friend, watch this. So I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, did your girlfriend or your mother knit that jumper for you? And he said, oh, my mother. And I said, so you don't have a girlfriend, so? And he said, no. And I said, good. That was the start of that. Jumper. Knitted in colourful stanzas, written by your mother, I stare at the back of your curly blonde head every Tuesday in philosophy. Only Desmond or Clark can see your face. Fine for now, but not forever. I touch you on the left shoulder, reach beneath to pull out poetry. Goodbye to stanzas, cast off free verse. Too plain, one pearl, you are the only one. I mend the secret hole in your jumper. I suppose the reason we're together so long is that he's very refined, and I'm a bit of a peasant, really, I suppose. But so I wrote this love poem for Patrick. It's called Lighthouse. You know I love to run naked into the purple, squally, inky sea. You know I will use my last fingernail to climb aboard the splintered raft of shipwreck. You know music is never loud enough, wind never wild enough, gorse never rough enough, waves never high enough. But when heathen ebbs, seagulls witness salty sting, you are still there, the lighthouse, my lighthouse, you. But of course, before Pat, there were others. So I wrote a poem, and Mary Louise, I'm going to dedicate this to you because in Mary Louise's first trip to Ireland, we went to Dragomna. Do you remember that? With, I'm deputy editor for Swerve magazine, and Mish Maroney and Mary Louise, and Mona, were you there as well, I think? That we went to Dragomna. And I wrote this poem. It's completely autobiographical and completely true. It's called first kiss. We bob up and down in your father's boat on the deepest lake in Tragumna. Bodies never reach the bottom, as in the dark descent to ripple eel beds. Skeletal fingers calcified in crevices catch scalps in murky half-light. Wearing tight grey Levi's, a white grandfather shirt, and a real leather belt that sunny, mystical afternoon. Your teeth a shrine, your lips the holy grail. I never confess that I cannot swim. Promise of a first kiss outweighs any drowning. I pass your house boarded up now. What would a second first kiss taste like after all these years? Licorice or ginger, I wager, unless you are dead. Anyway, we are all dying now, eating memories. So, like I said, I was chosen to represent Cork in the Cork Coventry Poetry Exchange with my friend here, Cédric Bicon. And we went as the last representatives from Ovale. It's still operating as Ovale Gubale, but the original incarnation of Ovale finished up at the end of last year. So this is a mini chapbook put together of some of my work and some of Cédric's work. So I'm going to read a poem from that chapbook called Chapter 10. When your mother died, you shaved your head. Grief wore suspended time. I cooked for you, washed, dressed, and lullabied weeks. Tasted the name of your first kiss in case you forgot. Reading Jack Kerouac on the bus, I revived the animus and anima of teenage crush. Lay down on wet grass by the side of a busy road. Same hat, different coloured rabbit every day. When our love died, you didn't shave your head, but I plucked every hair on my burning body each tweezer day, and nobody knew, not even you, the bald of my mourning. So Cédric Bicon is a Parisian guy living in Cork now for a good while. And we were looking for extra time to put together the chapbook. So I had a brainwave. I said, Cédric, what if you translated one of my poems into French and we could get an extra week for the deadline? So that's what we did. So I'm going to read the French translation of one of my poems, and then I'll read it in English. So this was translated by Cédric Bicon. Première nuit. Je passe ma main sur mon flanc gauche. Je te trouve dans une petite boîte pour fragments d'eau. Je respire les souvenirs de ton odeur caramel, coco, musc gras dans le lit d'hier. Je refuse de changer les draps tant le silence maculé rougit dans les ténèbres mollasseuses. Dis-moi, mon amour, comment le soleil se lève-t-il quand la lune hâle de chagrin? First night. I put my hand over my left ribs. You were there in a small box for broken bones. I inhale the memory of your caramel, coconut, oily musk in yesterday's bed. I refuse to change the sheets as white noise, silence roars in treacle darkness. Tell me, my love, how does the sun rise when the moon heaves in grief?
Wow.
I was going to say the same thing.
Thank you so much. So I have one poetry film that can be seen online. It's there on YouTube. Just put in Policing Mary and it'll pop up. It's only about less than 2 minutes long. But it was screened at the Winter Warmer Poetry Festival, and it was screened again last night as you know, as part of the poetry film, part of Ovale. So there's an Irish word in here called me-aw, which means bad luck. So Policing Mary. Auntie Mary is a strange one, full of Irish me-aw. She will only suck berries from a cracked china cup. Her hairy chin runs all the way to her toes, and she wonders about the commas of the world, surrounded by semicolons. She calls them lulas. I think she means lunatics. We both feel the pull of the moon. Tides tickle every wall. There is no policing Mary. She prizes limpets and cockles, naked-handed from rocks, refuses to go to mass, crunches shells during the soaps, calls for lavender at bedtime, whenever that is. Time is nothing. There are no sheets for Mary. She sleeps in 3 places. You never know where. There is no policing Mary. So I am now going to, so anyway, I did a kind of course in myth and magic in UCC as well. And we learned about the Selkie, the mythological woman that comes out of the water and takes a human form and goes back to the sea eventually. So this was published in Flair magazine. And there's a very good reading series in Dublin that takes place in Christchurch, near Christchurch, in the Lord Edward, and it's called the Sunflower Sessions. So big thanks to Eamon Machider for publishing this one called Back Again. Day broke with Cockic's delight as you ignored watered dawn. But I had a tongue that knew the sea. Selkie me, poor Selkie me. Always looking beyond truth, we swam the myth. Winter wore a red headdress in white summer memory. I am wild now, with grey hair, spiking delirium on a Thursday. Nothing works until everything works. And so I come back again with a mouthful of mermaid's purse, waiting for you on Dollymount Strand. So I'm also a member of the Debarra's spoken word team, and twice a year they choose poems to be put to music. So this next poem that I'm going to read was put to music by the Pied Wagtail Collective. And they really did a great job of interpreting it with kind of tribal beats. Feast. I feel your loss suddenly at dinner with friends in a seafood restaurant. It comes in like an over-tight stitch just between my last 2 ribs. My back is split and lungs displayed. I must be silent on the way to Valhalla to meet you in the great hall of my desire. Your absence spells torture in my crow eye. Salt thickens, stinging skin of mistake. Fret of your wave leaves your indent on my thinly papered stone walls. Return, I cannot feast without you. Return, I cannot feast without you. Return, I cannot feast without you. So now I'm going to lighten the mood with another poem that was published in Flair magazine, Glitter Crone. You pick your teeth with stiletto heels, drink pink gin with mid-morning meals, sleep in toilets until cleaners come, no taxis you say, not even one. Weeks roll by in stockings and suspenders. You haunt the hotel looking for big spenders. Your feathers fall off, you stick to the floor, then enter Prince Charming through the swing door. After a feast of cocktails, nibbles and glances, you head to the 80s disco for sweaty dances. When the lights come on, it's a sobering sight. He smells a bit funny, and that fur isn't right. No need to worry, you say. Forget your self-loathing. Sure, aren't we all just old sheep here in wolves' clothing? You bundle him up and take him back home. It's never too late to play with Glitter Crone.
Oh my God, Catherine.
So I have 3 or so poems left to go. Is that okay, time-wise?
Bet you.
Ain't no one going to complain here.
Okay, then. So the oldest literary journal in Ireland is called the Stony Thursday. And last year, actually, sorry, it was 2024. I had a poem published in the Stony Thursday. And I was delighted with that because it's really difficult to get published in it. And it's, like I said, it was set up in the 1970s by Jim Burke and John Liddy. And they're both still alive and it's still on the go. So this poem was translated into Irish then, into Gaeilge, by Tommy Collins, who is one of the editors for Revival Press. And it's called, I'm going to read it in Irish first and then I'll translate it. So it's called Laur Noti Kailte. Hashpon to the scardom an saura shin. Haring me ima laur noti e. Agus chuirse untas mar héal fad, call hoog skien ach ligigi dit fulú isteach sa ská. Pógam an scar sin ima cholla uanta. Rinig le clete corvid, brisik drumma oid sa duch e. Lost notebook. You showed me your scar that summer. I drew it in my notebook and wondered all my life what had taken a knife but let you bleed into shadow. I kiss that scar in my sleep sometimes, trace it with a corvid's feather, break the spine of my longing in the ink of it. So I'm going to finish, I think, with Bridget for our good friend Mags Creedon O'Shea. Now, Bridget was a pan-Celtic goddess, and she was Christianized because Bridget had such a like such a following, in Ireland, and she's having a resurgence and becoming a symbol for renewal, growth, like resilience, fertility, all the good stuff. And of course, we're looking at spring. That's what we're hoping for. So I'm going to finish with Bridget. Cupped flame of sunbeams and snow, cosmic power of renewal. Oak sap rises to kiss your fingers. Spring tides bathe your feet. You are sketched moon, fractured sun, first flower of spring in a druid's fist. Born between two thresholds, you hold the hand of all labours. Or Mary of the Gale, we tie magic ribbons and rags to your holy wish trees, sing songs over ancient rivers. Protector of poets, smiths, healers, we kneel before your mantle of stars. Bridget, carried from Iona to Bethlehem, you inhale the dark, exhale the light. Thank you so much for having me. It's been my absolute pleasure to read for you, and please have me back again.
Well, before we have you back again, we're going to ask you for an encore.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Okay, let's have this one. So this is a relatively new one, and it's one of my favorites at the moment. You know, the way that you anyway. So this is an exclusive. I haven't read this anywhere else. Speak, Sky. Every evening after work, I pass under the spur of the N28, look up for any filament of you. I suck in the cloud swell until I explode into the perfect nobody and wonder if I will ever live like before. Before I knew how to eat storms, draw with nails caked in riverbed, and dance in eel skin shoes. Before I knew you. A world mind of obsessive love hovers in chaos. Turbulence erupts, my face rains, and the air smells of salty dream and broken intimacy. In that instant, I am syllable soaking in the addictive rhythm of your tongue. I speak you like a language buried in my DNA. I wear you like a dress of 7 salmon skins. Feel you as a phantom ache in every bone. Hear you as the newborn cry of separation. Moons rise in question. Suns fall and answer. I conjugate void in the first, second, third person. I learn to speak sky.
Whoa. Thank you. I couldn't think of a better way to start this whole evening if I had to.
Catherine, this is Greg. This is one of the most astonishing, intimate, beautiful, lyrical, lucid, compact, well-crafted reading I have ever heard in more than a dozen years of doing this.
Oh my word.
Right up in the top 5 easily. I love your original work, your skillful dancing around cliched imagery and text. I love your inspired heart. Oh my God. And I'll stop there.
That's a round of applause for Greg. That's fabulous.
All right, everybody unmute, say a few nice words. Feel free, everyone.
I'd love you to read my poems.
Yeah.
You would make anybody's poems sound terrific the way you read.
Thank you.
I love what you do with metaphor and how personal and also resonant your poetry is. Just stunning.
Thank you, Josephine.
I know Catherine and her poetry very well. We were at a poetry session even last night, and I'm still stunned tonight to listen to her again. Stunned.
Thank you, Mona.
Catherine, your work is just brilliant. And I've been sitting here using my fan because it literally makes me sweat. And that's a compliment.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't perspire.
Okay. Gosh.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah. So well done. And your joy. I'm sorry. So go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that your pieces have all been very inspiring. Thank you for sharing your work. I thoroughly enjoyed from start to finish. I'm so glad I was able to log on. So thank you. Continue to inspire the world with your beautiful words.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
I don't even want to do an open mic now.
That's a first.
Catherine, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for doing this for the first time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to leave it to Lenny Dellarocca to follow up with that one.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
We're going to do 3 or 4 pieces, take 10 minutes, however you want to go. It's fine.
Okay. Let's see. I'll start. This is an older one. It's called Sacre, because she's read in French, which was so great to hear. I wish I could do that, but so Sacre Coeur. Sacre Coeur. Every rib, let me start with. Every rib cage has something soft it wants to protect. Let mine be the night we walked until your feet blistered in Paris when the tower flashed. And the afternoon in Versailles when 2 girls kissed on a bench, or the woman crushing oranges for visitors, swatted bees. I remember all of it. Our tour guide in Rome telling us these old mansions are now apartments. Look, she said in broken English, pointing at the door, the bell of many names. Your face is my ticket home, my love, where I'll salve your wounds with ointment, purchase the morning a flock of pigeons peeked in our hotel window. I'll raise your feet in my hands to absolve the sins of walking too far along the Seine, listening to the bells of Notre Dame. And I'll surround you with my arms, still aching with lifting the moon above the Grand Canal, while a man in a gondola sang to the open windows of Venice. Let the soft place in my ribs be that, my love. Let it be days we drank espresso, looking at angels wielding swords, nights among cafes and chestnut trees lining the avenues, radiating out like so many spokes in a wheel. So that was that one. I'll do Afternoons with Clarissa. More than that, she sits in her chair, next to the window that keeps the storm on the other side. She is that chair, her head back, legs crossed like fingers at the end of a secret. Clarissa with teacup. We're old friends and have been silent with each other a long time each time we sit together. I look past her face and she leans toward the lamp, puts the cup on the table at her knees. She's a white dress. I pour another. By the time a new question comes out of me, one comes out of her. Mine, how is Jonathan since his father died? Hers, have you seen Jonathan since his father died? The trees are wild out there. Neither of us use sugar, but the packets lie next to 100 years of solitude. I'll get the lemon, I usually say, this long into thinking out loud. Jonathan hasn't been around since his father died. The lamp comes on, her umbrella slides down the wall and clacks the floor. I've always loved green eyes. I kissed her once. She said she had her period and walked to English class with her hair up, involved herself with difficult authors. My tastes ran to mysteries, The Big Sleep. She came to my 14th birthday party dressed as Mrs. Dalloway. I wonder how birds fare in wind this bad. The woman is impossible to figure out. She runs a thumb across her lips, tilts forward, and crosses her legs the other way. She smooths the crumpled letter on the table. Okay, so this is a new one. Where is it? This is real new. I just wrote this today, in fact. Pardoned. Mythologically speaking, I lowered the ladder into the stream. I'd come to the end of my journey. Sadness wasn't how their voices wept after I left them, burning. Intent had nothing to do with it. It was instinct, or so I tried to explain. Instead, they threw the hooded cloak from the tower. It's their belief that not even the worst creature in the world should be punished. Not by them. They let me go. The graceful ones spoke and heliotrope bloomed. Women took off their blue scarves. No one moved except to put a hand up to cough, looking down as I passed. I was thrown down. Everybody knew it. Sometimes I still wonder why none of them locked their doors. Why didn't they gather stones? The fountains spent nights musically happy. It was if the straw I brought them was harmless. They only watched my hands conduct the air. And was it one more, you say? Yeah?
Yeah, go for it, man.
This is the invention of sunspots. After years of sitting under night skies in planetariums, watching the dark globe freckled with little holes of light move its machinery to change the black sky, something happened. Don't tell a soul, but I've been diagnosed with astronomy. Poking my head into star maps must have given me a bug. I'm off balance too, tangled up in dark matters, mass of icy music. The old orange moon inside me, where imaginary love letters are written in its dust, irradiates my room. Thing is, my room is in someone else's house. The woman with red hair who dances alone, wine-stained, contagious silhouette, just a light year down the block, a slanted house in blue. Sometimes I sleepwalk my way to her door. I don't know how to detect gravity in a smile, measure favor with a telescope. I wander from my job calculating meteors with diagrams of falling apples, but my pencil's purple in the dark. Secret words beaded out by satellites that feed me grapes. I think the redhead likes me. If I learn tango, I could ask her out. I know a charming place on Venus. And she's got that spaceship in her room. Thanks.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
That's why we like Lenny going first. He sets the mood.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Lenny. All right, Mary Louise Kiernan, you're next.
So I have a poem, just one, that I would like to read twice. And it was actually published online in Witchery, and it had been accepted by Lenny Dellarocca for publication. I do a play on a phrase here. You'll hear something that sounds like crying over spilt milk. And for me, this is very steamy, but I'm inspired by Catherine, so I've never read this poem aloud. Two-timed. In the armoire, draped over satin hangers, while lying over spilt silk, nighty pouts. Who put the noir in my peignoir? In the armoire, draped over satin hangers, while lying over spilt silk, nighty pouts. Who put the noir in my peignoir? Thank you.
Nice.
Sweet.
Neat.
Two-timed.
And that was an
Two-timed.
e-poem, right? That was an e-poem.
And it was an e-poem, yes. And I can tell you the lines that were formed the E shape. Well, I already closed it, so. But it definitely is an e-poem. So thank you for accepting that for publication.
Oh, sure. So leave us hanging till next time. Okay, great. Okay, great. Just one. All right. Thank you, Mary. Margi, you want to read?
Yes.
Go for it.
I'm going to start with something that is not as controversial as the last one that I just wrote today. But these are two short poems that are haiku in nature, but they're not haiku in the traditional context. And I know that because I sent them to this place in Wisconsin. It was called Modern Haiku. And they publish haikus. And I sent a whole bunch of them to Modern Haiku. And they said, your stuff is really good, but it's not the spirit of haiku. So this is fake haiku. This is called Black Night. Black night, so black, the white moon shrinks. Black wind, so cold, my bones and the moon rock. Black trees, so stark, they stick in my throat. Black night, so black, the white snow vanishes. And this is a short one. I am descending. I am looking for softness, but it isn't there. It isn't there. That's from a book that I had published during the COVID shutdown. And this is one I just wrote today. And so it's untitled. Silence most of the time is pretty quiet. Today, just a few swish patterns of an air purifier near my couch was enough to interrupt the silence. I was in the middle of an eyelid drooping couch pause. The silence woke me up. Or maybe it was the swish. Sometimes it's difficult to ascertain which is which. This time, I had to let fear and loathing take the center spot. Silent and the swish, slow and easy, could not replace the dirt dread explosions of bombs, of fire, of concrete splattering as if it were returning to sand after it buried young school girls. Is this the best we've got? Is this the dust to dust return from biblical epiphanies? All going back to the hot dirt, screaming with fires? Humanity is in need of a few ICU nurses. I stole that line from a news broadcaster. Everything seems to be fair game. Thank you.
Thank you, Margi.
Wonderful. I love that.
And quite obviously, the folks over in Wisconsin don't know what they're talking about. So, to heck with it. There's a thing called the 575 Journal. They're out of England. You can try them if you'd like. You can look them up online. It's 575 Haiku Journal, I think, is the proper title. Try them out. Donna, would you like to read for us like you did the other night?
Oh, Mike, no.
Okay, fair enough. Josephine Laure, you're up.
Thank you. It's great to be here. And I would just like to acknowledge that where I live and create, it's the ancestral traditional lands of various groups of indigenous peoples who today call themselves the Piikani, the Tsuut'ina, the Nakota, the Kainai, and the Siksika. And I would like to thank them for having originally brought culture, language, and poetry to this land. So, Catherine, you started off with one that you wrote when you were quite young about jeans and not having clean clothes. I'm going to see if I can remember one of my first poems that I wrote when I was a teenager. I believed in bedtime tales and flying little fairies. I believed in Jesus Christ and the Blessed Virgin Mary. I believed there'd be a man I'd love and have to keep. Now I know that all those dreams are just for those who sleep. So I think I was about 16 when I wrote that. I'm going to read a few that are a little bit more serious and a little bit more mature. This one is called The Patron Saint of Lost Words. We tried, digitized, scanned, and archived page by page, but could not capture or save the multitude of words lost to rising waters. At first, the tomes afloat in their leather bindings, then the parchment imbibed, swelling twice its size, swallowing with thirst the moisture once so keenly desired. One by one, the letters lifted off the page. S's and F's, L's and P's, W's and Z's, and then the softer sounds, the oohs and ohs, and eventually even the punctuation, the long dash, the comma, the expectant ... and soon all these phonemes were adrift among flotsam of morphemes and jetsam of graphemes, a morass of unspoken longing, until they too dissolved. The next one is called Mater Dolorosa, which is Latin for mater is mother, and dolorosa means in pain. Alone on the shore, a cloak of tranquility, shadow of downcast eyes. She has borne the weight of loss, knows what it means to watch her children saw and sand and build a boat, catch westward wind. She knows the ache of each puny spoonful coaxed into the mouth of her aging mother, as into the skyward beak of a baby bird. Mother does not want any more, but she cannot relinquish mother to the strand, watch her drift away toward the open sea. The next piece is called Affliction. I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but I was experiencing floaters in my vision, which is tears in the retina. Okay, affliction. Afflicted again, my vision compromised floaters across the periphery. Some days gnats or flies, others cross-hatchings, bats. And today, as I drive this mountain pass, a flurry, crows crowding windshield, obliterating snowshoots coursing down these rugged wintry slopes. Last night, an inverse obstruction, for I saw you in a coffin. Sheet and pillow satin white, and you, so little, diminished. I wanted everyone who came up to bestrew you with petals, roses of red and white, and some yellow ones for Dad, to encircle your shoulders and your head, your eyes never more to open, your hands never more to flutter, resting gently on your belly, the belly from whence I sprang. For now, though, I must keep driving, make my way back home, but I'm afraid, I'm so afraid of those damned crows. And the last one is also dedicated to my mum, and it is called, well, the form of it is a terza rima, which is tercets, and the rhyming scheme is ABA, BCB, etc. So this one is terza rima for my mother. I see now that snow is but another word for grace, as it lays on the roof and the boughs of the trees. Eyes closed, I watch as it falls on your face. But then the slide flips. You're encircled by bees. Sunflower essence attracts these fine creatures to come sip or to sit for as long as they please. I hear their soft buzz, notice minuscule features, the fuzz on their legs, translucent wings. On my lips, the sweet honey they gather at leisure. Clouds gather, storm rises, the rain that it brings falls full on your face, oh sweet golden slumber. A soft kiss on your brow, and then my heart rings. Beyond scent, beyond sense, beyond time, beyond reason, my mother, your stages through all of my seasons. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Thank you, Josephine.
Thank you.
Great to hear you twice in a month. That's awesome. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Ron Bremner. Ron, you still there? Oh, man, there he is.
Go get him, Ron. You're muted.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Great reading, fabulous reading, Catherine. I've heard you many times, and every time is better than the last. So I don't know what to say. But let me find my bearings here. There we go. Speaking of Stony Thursday, last year I was able to get a poem into that venerable Irish institution. I was shocked, but very happy to find out. This is a poem. I wrote this poem right after the death of Laura Boss. Laura Boss was the editor of Whips magazine. She was a close friend of Allen Ginsberg. She was a former girlfriend of Gregory Corso, and she was my friend. And we both appeared with Allen Ginsberg in the first issue of the Passaic Review back in 1979. This is for Laura. The Wobble of Muons. These wobbling days grow to static centuries. Those who die today are grist for future times. Muon particles live on to saturate the mills of tomorrow. Yesterday's dreams orbit the earth, never to disappear as long as there is an earth. And those who die today live on in the rebirthing muons forever as dreams are reclaimed. And the next one, there we go. This was published somewhere. I can't imagine where. It was a long time ago. This is the town of forgotten origins. History is erased here. Sticks and stones won't break your bones here. Send no signals. The line is busy. If you make this your home, a summer wind will blow an unsolved mystery through your garden at night. Enjoy the breeze and rest for a spell before anyone realizes that you're gone. The strange shadows here are working to mend the tear in the poetic justice of your limits. And my final poem of the night. This is kind of a nonsense poem. It was written a couple of days ago, and for anyone who's under 65 years old, you might not know anything about the Moody Blues, but this poem is a tribute to the Moody Blues. On the threshold of a dream, this melancholy man, who is sometimes me, trips and falls into the mire by the side of the road. It is only a simple question of balance, but I can never find the answer to it. I can only hope in my melancholy that my children or my children's children's children will find in the legend of a mind that voice in the sky that will speak the answer, which may just be the story in your eyes, as you never give up your search for the lost chord. Thank you and have a pleasant night.
Wonderful, Ron.
Thank you, Ron. Always good to hear, man.
Really wonderful.
Thank you. Did we just lose Mona Lynch? Dang. Hopefully she comes back on. Linette, you're up. Linette Rabsatt, everybody.
Yay.
Hey, good evening, good evening. I have some old and new work to share. This one is called I Have Some Ideas.
Not me.
I have lots of ideas. Many are incoherent, basically unclear. The funny thing is, I don't care, I share them aloud. Anyone who hears emits flares, a clear sign that they are aware of my blemished affair with not being scared about the crazy things I share. These ideas won't reward or dare, but intimidate fair, replicate care, take tearing down barriers that ensnare. That's my first piece. That one was written last month. This one was written, well, February 28th. It's called I Stayed Because. I thought I was valued, making a difference, ensuring good influence, never thinking about consequences because I felt good. But it wasn't a good place. It was a deprived space filled with envy, discord, and mistrust, where people would silently pray curses. I couldn't understand my sick feelings, reeling with pain from my feet to my brain, almost at the brink of insanity. Yet I stayed. I wanted to be loyal. I saw myself as vital, but I was wrong. I should have left, not understanding how the crest indicates the wave is about to dissipate, just as my fate for staying in this place. I stayed because I didn't know I needed to go, grow, and glow and inspire. And then I'll share two other short pieces that I have been experimenting with. And I thank you guys for always sharing your inspiration because it helps other poets to, do better with their work. So this is called Like Secondhand Smoke. Tortuous to my lungs, threatening my ability to inhale, tingling every pulmonary organ, trashing every nerve ending. Tears drizzle profusely. This secondhand smoke that brews the toxicity terrorizing the atmosphere. takes my breath away. And my last piece is the wind. I want to live free like the wind. Moods unpredictable, unable to be scheduled, circulator of all things minuscule, even used as a tool to generate power because I have the energy to illuminate with my endless source of breath and dominance. No other element can replicate this valued resource. Devastating if perturbed, uprooting domiciles in few breaths. I want to live free like the wind. Thank you.
Thank you, and always great to see you. Thank you.
Yay!
Yeah, that was great.
Yes. Oh, so good. So good.
All right. Mona didn't come back, so our next open mic reader just so happens to be me. Being that what? I know what I wanted to say. Being that Catherine and then Josephine did something from when they were younger, I think I'll do the same thing. I had no idea I was going to do this today, but let's give it a rip. And this one's called Streets Like Women. Streets like women I have known through a small city I do roam. Emily Place, Sharon Drive, not a big city, but a hell of a ride. Diane Walk, Rebecca Square, Heather Road goes nowhere near. Judy Circle, Wendy Way, Alice Alley, dark and gray. Freeway, Thruway, Broadway, Main. Getting lost is such a pain. Maybe I should take a train. Amy Loop, Paula Path, Diamonds, Dresses, do the math. Linda Parkway, Candace Lane, such a road map in my brain. Roslyn Station, Beverly Heights, Tracy Streets goes wrong at night. Lena Turnpike, Courtney Court, taxi drivers are good sports. Route Christine to the Dorn Highway, be always on your guard, or else they'll steal your heart away on Hillary Boulevard. Streets like women I have known through a small city I do roam.
Yes.
Finger snaps.
And I'm going to do another old one. Actually, this really isn't an old one. This is more of one that I've never known. About 89,000 years ago, I started a rock and roll punk rock detective novel called The Blonde and Blue Shoes. And I was never able to finish it. So I've decided to try. About 4 or 5 years ago, I said, let me try breaking it up into poems and see what happens. And this is the very first one. I guess you could call it chapter 1. Yeah, you could, because that's what I just did here. It's called Then Zoe, The Blonde and Blue Shoes, chapter 1. Jack Maverick's murder mystery, The Blonde and Blue Shoes, is 300 pages of capering genius and punk rock that goes something like this. In a swishy bistro near the manager's bed, he slides his card from her cleavage. From here, the plot like a pile up on the Marshalloo gets sketchy. Maverick falls for his assistant's roll call of welcome uneasy behaviors. Then Zoe, a would-be handler for a would-be star, opens her blouse like silk summer drapes. And that's chapter 1.
Get the fan out.
Wow. That's new. That's original.
So there you go. Someday maybe I'll finish it if I could ever figure out the ending. So, all right. Unless Mona comes back, our final reader, or should we ask Catherine for one more after our next open mic?
Yes.
Yay. All right, Catherine, get warmed up for one more. Greg, you're up.
Okay, hang on. Okay. This is such an interesting opportunity, this new quarterly series with such a small group. So I've got 4 or 5 poems that are started. They're just a stanza. And then I've got one that's complete. I'll read some of the stanzas for my Could Be a Poem Someday. the longest of which is this one, and it's called Useless. I no longer crave what is useless. I have enough, too much even, but I have all of what I need. My daughters are strong and deeply embedded. My wife revs up for retirement. She's starting a business. Desire interferes with our innate nature, says Jean Hay. At 70, I circle that square. I am ready. Now, moments later, I am ready again. I smile with my eyes. I demur pleasure and anger. Yet I delight in everything. But if we are not humane, we are useless chit-chat, clack and clatter. The next one is complete, as it were. It's called The New Emojis. The new emoji set is here in all possible skins, hues, and tones. Number 1, wrists. The trembling pulse and tendons, almost terrifying. Number 2, shoulders. Control yourselves now. The uppermost slopes softly into the vulnerable back. The frontmost are moguls of fragile collarbone décolletage. Number 3, shanks. Slimming to dog ankles far below, disappearing into meaty thighs above. Our greyhound physiognomy. 4, throats. Pulsing. Ears, come on, that's corny, and yet who hasn't felt a fingertip or a tongue hesitating on those inner hairs and felt the involuntary kegel, the clenching delirium in their nethers. Number 6, fingers. Nests of fingers, rafts of digits, probing and moving, semaphoric tips, brushing, pressing, sleeping, twined in our own. This one's called Fall. Spring, the time of trampled beauty. Too busy for beauty, we penned to our task. Summer, the fathead grain, sacrificed, brushed by hands, green gold. Fall is the season of gravity triumphant, and the chill moon, always moving. Winter is for reading and death. Hoarfrost sighs, I dream you back. And then finally, a beginning of a poem, as I said, that I probably will finish. It's called Bellies. The belly of a woodpecker, pale. The unknown weight of a stone. The dusty legs of a moth, minuscule. The scrawn of cirrus above. That's all I got.
That's pretty damn good for all you got.
All right.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. But before we go, I want to ask Catherine to do one more. But I also want to alert you to other upcoming events for CAPS. Next week, next Thursday, we'll be back with Laura Daniels. That's a Zoom only at 9 a.m. Yeah, right. 7 p.m. Laura Daniels will be joining us on March 19th. On April 3rd, we will go back to in person at the Full Circle. We had a wonderful crowd last Friday.
Yes.
So April 3rd will be Ruth Danon, Matthew Spearing, and Tim Tomlinson. And then on April 16th will be Irene Sippos. And we will come back here on the second Tuesday in June. That will be June 9th. And that's with Natalia Sukanos. And so if you can join us in any of those, please do. Just go up on the website and register. And I can't say goodbye without asking Catherine to do another one. Ready?
Ready. Thanks, everyone. I've had such a good time. This is just amazing gathering. And I'm going to get there in person to you.
Yes.
One of these fine days.
Awesome.
Be afraid. Be very afraid. I'm coming stateside. So I'm going to finish with the first poem in my book. And it won the Winter Solstice Poetry Competition. And it's called Winter Hope. And I think we all need winter hope. I knew you would come, invincible sun. Rebirth from darkness, clocks burn and turn. Stone singing ancestors face the same sky. Mistletoe glows, fiery ankles feast. On the darkest day, Jupiter and Saturn kiss. Fingers frosted blue, trace ancient nights. You offer me the veiled chalice of begin. I crawl out of winter's cave, newborn in your sight, squinting at your song, written in the trees. I knew you would come, invincible sun. Thanks again.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. If you want to say a few words, please do. We won't just cut everybody off, but if anybody wants to say a few words, please do.
Oh, Catherine, you are a revelation.
Thank you, Greg.
The original lines and the emotional import and the way you sort of just get it in there and just get it in there, the meaning, the emotional truth of it on each line, and leave us wanting more and more. It's just remarkable. Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to bring you over here, Greg, so you can say things like that and, about myself all the time.
Each other on the back, sure.
Can you tape that? Can you just send me an audio there? And every time I'm feeling down or I get a rejection, I just play Greg. I need Greg.
From the heart. From the heart. Yeah. Okay, then.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. This has been wonderful.
You're welcome. Great to see everybody again. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you, Mike, for a great night. And Catherine, I just wanted to say that you know that I will be your personal chauffeur and host. So anyone who wants to meet Catherine in person, just say where and when, and I shall deliver her to you.
And it pretty much sounds like you could stay at Greg's too if you want to. So.
Hey, Greg, I'm coming, Greg.
It's all good. It's all good.
You're Mila Mahaguiv Galer. I had to go to the Irish. 1,000 thank yous.
So many wonderful voices here tonight. Josephine and Linette and Margi and Mary Louise. This is a great night. I just say.
Wonderful.
I agree.
Well, this is what we were hoping for. So there you go. Thank you very much. Thank you all for making it happen.
All right.
And thank you for the platform.
Yes,
bet. Thank you.
We do our best.
It's easy for us to do. Yeah. All right. So we'll close up in just a moment. Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks,
Take care.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.